Alrighty folks, want to welcome you back to another video from Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. I'm going to be starting a whole Windows 11 collection. I know it's a bit early, support stops in a few more years for Windows 10, but most of these manufacturers and most other things are recommending to move on to Windows 11. I know a lot of people complain about Windows 11, they don't like it. I'm using it. I don't see too many major issues with it. There's a few issues with some primary software that's out there that's proprietary that have a few little issues that I've come across, but mostly everything seems to be okay. So I wanted to move on, get away from the Windows 10 because Windows 10's been out for quite a few years. Most people should already be on Windows 10 and not be running anything older. So it's time to move on to the next version of Windows that everybody will be going to hopefully here really soon. So the last video I did was how to upgrade from Windows 10 to Windows 11 if your computer is capable. You can actually buy some computers today that you can still run Windows 10 on. It gives you the option, do you want Windows 10 or upgrade to 11? In a couple years, you're going to have to do that process. But here's really the first look of what it actually kind of comes up with. There's a few minor changes to the start. There's a lot of major changes in the background of where certain things are. Is it easier? Is it harder? Well, I've learned to take a couple shortcuts with Windows 10 by hitting the Windows key and the S and searching for what I want. If I want to go to Control Panel, if I want to go to wherever I want, Device Manager, all of those things, so it'll come up. Instead of trying to find where they hid them and moved them to and which submenus and all of those things. So, to me, it's basically the same because I'm following the same steps that I did with Windows 10 because I got tired of trying to find, oh, where did they move this to and where did they move that to. So with Windows 10 they gave you that search feature where you hit the Windows logo key and the S, it would give you the search box. Once that comes up, you can start typing in what you want. As you can see, what I've been using. You got your Control Panel, Command Prompt. Those are what I use a lot of times, so I just click on it and go. Instead of going to your start menu, going here, going there, I find that's a little bit quicker and easier. Plus, when they moved it in Windows 11, made it a little bit more difficult to get to, this is just easy. It comes up the same if I'm working on a Windows 10 or working on a Windows 11. It's all the same to me. It makes it easy. So the one main thing probably a lot of people have seen is this down here is now in the middle. And it generates the little tiles. A lot of people have complained about this. A lot of people said, oh, this is horrible, how could they do that, blah 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 blah. Actually, I kind of found it to be a little bit convenient. Same with the Windows 10 where it had the tiles on the side. Instead of me going to apps and scrolling down through everything that's alphabetical, especially like if you want to get to Word or something you use all the time that's down here on the bottom, you know, you have to scroll up and down to find it. Depending on what Office version, sometimes it's in Microsoft Office and then you have to go down and find it. The older versions, pretty much all those are unsupported. Now you can actually put your tiles here, what you use. Makes it kind of nice that I don't have to go and search through the list. Why do I got to go look through Outlook and Excel if I want a Word document? I don't have to have it on my desktop. I don't have to have it other places to crowd my screen for me to do other things. So it's kind of really convenient in a lot of ways that you have these things. But when you first install, a clean install, they install all kinds of junk software, all kinds of stuff that you got to clean out. It's pretty simple. If you right click on it, it gives you the menu. You can just unpin it from the startup. Let's see, this one, you can uninstall all from this point. So it's kind of nice. It's got the same features as if you go through the startup list and you go through a lot of those things. So you can basically unpin it and it goes away. There's move to top. If you want to move it in a certain order, maybe that's the one application you use a lot. It doesn't have to be in alphabetical order. It doesn't have to be in any kind of order. You can kind of move them around. So the one complaint I had is that they put this in the middle. I don't like that because the problem is most of my users have been using computers for a long time. They want it where it used to be. You can change that. If you go down next to it, you right click on it, it'll give you your options. And on here it has your chat button, your widgets, all these things. You can turn those off. I recommend it because I don't want them running because it uses resources. Down here you have other options. It says center. You can move it to the left. Only problem that I have that I really voiced a lot about is I don't like about this is once you're an admin and you set it up, this setting does not transfer all to your users. Every user that logs into that system, you have to change this setting. So if you have 5 computers, let's say for an accounting department, you have, let's say 8 users and they move computers because all their information's on a server and they all like them all off to the left, you're going to have to go through every single one of those computers, every single one of those users and change this setting. So if you have 5 computers and 8 users, that's over 40 user accounts you're going to have to go into and change this setting. So that's the one complaint I have. But for home users, small business users, this shouldn't be a big problem. So some people like it in the center because if you're working on something and you need to scroll down to what you want to change, it's in the middle. You don't have to quite move so far. So I know some people go, oh no, I really like that because I don't have to go way over here, because that sometimes is really kind of inconvenient when you're working on something. So yeah, okay, I can leave it that way for you, no problem. So some people like that. So it's kind of a mixture. And again, one of the major things with Windows 10, Windows 11 is your privacy settings. You want to go through and turn all that junk off that they collect all your data. I'll have another video on that. I wanted to bring that up because that's when you first install. Something that you need to be aware of and know of. But that is basically the primary differences once you install and what you have. What's on your startup? How do you find what you need to? If you right click on that, it gives you a menu. That menu has a lot of things. Your computer management, disk management, device manager. Most of the time when I do device manager, I don't click here. I use the Windows S key and I look up device manager. Just habit. It's something that I can do on both systems. You go to your apps and features. As you can see, there's all kinds of apps. And you have your Windows updates. Again, this was really the weird issue that I found with Windows 11. I mentioned it on the past video. If you go to Advanced, there's optional updates here. I actually have none available right now, but I've been finding some in here, even though when you go to here and you search for your updates, it tells you there's none available. It'll be driver updates, some other little tiny things that are out there, and it says you may want to download these if you're having problems with this device or whatever, like a menu. So I thought that was kind of odd that it's kind of hidden, and I haven't really seen anybody talk about that, but it was kind of surprising to me. So this is basically what I wanted to go through for this video. I know it's fairly short, be a short little video, but this is basically once you get your first install up and running, once you get in there, you're going to notice a few things are different. Wanted to go through and show you all of these little type of things that are out there. You know, how things are different. You have your date, your time. And of course, one of the other things you always want to check is your date settings. Because a lot of times, like where we're at, it wants to put us in the North American or Central area where there is a daylight savings time shift. Where we're at in Arizona, some places in Texas do have it, don't have it. You want to watch that, because worst thing you want to do is get on there and think, oh, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and it's really 3 o'clock or whatever, and you're late for whatever you want to do because your time's wrong. So sometimes those things can get changed. You want to verify those. But I wanted to give everybody kind of the first look on, I know I've covered this in another video, but I wanted to break this down separately. I want to go through and break down a lot of this completely separate, so when people have issues, they can go back and pull up that exact video and not have to watch a 40-50 minute video and try to find the section they want. So let me wrap this one up, and then I'll start the next video here. It'll probably be on Windows updates itself. Probably have another one on how to do backups, where to find those type of features, where to find those settings. A lot of these things will be coming out here in the future so that people can know how to do this stuff, how to stay compliant, how to follow best practices. Even though you get a new Windows version, you still have to learn these new features and new things to stay in compliance and follow best practice. So let me wrap this one up. Thank you so much for watching.